Lemon, lime, and a drop of cherry make a simple Shirley. But what happens when Tito's handmade vodka reveals this sweet sipper's dirty secret? Stir up a Tito's Dirty Sherlock and crack the case with Tito's at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Walmart Plus members save on meeting up with friends. Save on having them over for dinner with free delivery with no hidden fees or markups. That's groceries, plus napkins, plus that vegetable chopper to make things a bit easier. Plus, members save on gas to go meet them in their neck of the woods. Plus, when you're ready for the ultimate sign of friendship, start a show together with your included Paramount Plus subscription. Walmart Plus members save on this plus so much more. Start a 30-day free trial at walmartplus.com. Paramount Plus Essential Plan only. Separate registration required. See Walmart Plus terms and conditions.
For exclusive podcasts and more, sign up at patreon.com/partnersincrimemedia.
This week's Law & Order Marathon winner is Devin Hayward from the Bronx, New York. Devin will get a marathon decal showing they watched 26.2 hours of their favorite crime show. To be next week's winner, sign up at lawandorderpodcast.com.
I'm Kevin Flynn with Rebecca Lavoie and Ellyn Marsh, and these are their stories.
You think you know who did it, but you don't know who did it. Law and order, law and order, law and order. It's no ordinary police procedural, baby. It's the FNOG of police procedurals, baby. Law and order, law and order, law and order, law and order. These are their stories, these are their stories.
Welcome to These Are Their Stories, the podcast about network TV's most enduring crime franchise and the real-life cases that inspired their shows. I'm Kevin Flynn. Each podcast, we'll break down an episode from either Criminal Intent, SVU, or Original Recipe. And today we're looking at the mothership Law & Order, Season 9, Episode 6, Scrambled.
Let me see if I get this straight. Her ex-husband's second wife wanted to implant her frozen embryos.
And give birth to her children. A lot of people wouldn't be too thrilled about that.
It's just not a motive I run into much.
Joining me to do just that is true crime author and the host of Crime Writers On and Netflix's You Can't Make This Up podcasts. It's Rebecca Lavoie. Hello, Rebecca.
Hello, Kevin.
And rounding out our panel is our special guest from the I Think Not podcast, and Ellyn and Robbie Solve the Case. It's Ellyn Marsh. Hello, Ellyn.
Hi, Kevin Flynn. And don't forget, Shut the Fuck Up, Nick Lachey with Daisy Egan.
Oh, it's right.
I thought that was at the top of your podcast listening list, and now I'm hurt.
Hey, I don't even know if it's Ellyn and Robbie Solve the Case or Robbie and Ellyn Solve the Case. Don't
always
at me.
Robbie first, please. I'm just the Muppet that follows behind.
That's what I thought. So I thought everybody that follows you knows that you are a New York-based actress. And I'm wondering, have you ever tried out for Law & Order?
Kevin, so many times. I have such a history of Law & Order. Everybody has been on Law & Order or auditioned for Law & Order. Mm-hmm. At this point, I know everybody by first name, but I didn't realize what the secret is until like audition number 9.
What's the secret? Be dead?
Don't do anything.
Oh, don't do anything. Okay.
I was just giving too much. So throw me a line, Kevin. Like throw me anything, and I'll play. I'll play what I used to do, and then what I did when I learned the secret recipe.
So I'm a detective?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So what color was the car?
I just don't know. Okay, that's what I would have done.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. Now give me the same line.
So what color was the car?
I just don't know.
Yeah.
And then you book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Because you have to act like you don't have any emotion. You have to act like you've never been surprised or scared or felt anything. And then you get to be on Law & Order. Less is more. And then when you get to that less, go even less. And then you're a Law & Order actor.
Wait. Do you have to be able to fold sweaters or pick up boxes? Like, so that's like a task.
Like, of live fish.
Yes.
Or, clean a chalkboard.
Yes.
Give a pap smear. That's always a good one.
That's right. But they didn't do one of those interviews while they were harvesting eggs. Well, detective. Ellyn, you were in a play called Enron. About Enron. Mm-hmm. So what the fuck was the love song from the Enron play?
A love song. It was a play. It wasn't a musical. So Kevin, this is so fun that I get to impart this knowledge. Musicals have songs and plays just have talking.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
How interesting.
Super.
Yeah.
And they didn't see your Law and Order edition when they cast you?
No.
Super.
No, they were like, pick the girl with the big grand Tetons and the big eyes. Enron was my biggest flop of a Broadway show, but ironically, one of the best shows I was in. It was so good and so smart. It was really satirical, and it talked about the fall of Enron. It came over from the West End, and the thing that the English like to do is they like to laugh at themselves. Americans don't like to laugh at themselves.
No.
So it was a big ol' flop, but it was truly one of the most innovative, amazing shows that I did. It just didn't have a really long life on Broadway.
Ellyn, of all the franchises, which two cops are your favorite Law and Order detective team?
Favorite Law and Order detective team?
Absolutely. Ice-T and Mariska. Absolutely.
Okay.
Ice-T is the emperor of all things. There's nothing better than Ice-T learning what sex addiction is. That's the best, right? I mean, that's the best moment in... If you say anything else, like, there's just nothing else than Ice-T learning something on the spot.
Like 25 years on the force and he's just hearing about this for the first time.
He is objectively the worst actor there's ever been, right? Like, we can agree on that. And then there's Mariska, who is the goddess of all things land, sea, and the air and space, right?
Yeah. Well, next time you audition, it's got to be with Ice-T. Absolutely. And Ellyn, who's your favorite prosecutorial team?
Favorite Law and Order District Attorney prosecutorial team?
I love Marcy Darcy's husband. My friend was Pippa Cox, but like she was defense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Who's your favorite? I knew this question was coming because I listened to the show and then I didn't prepare.
I think it's McCoy and Kincaid. That's for me. Rebecca, you have...
I like Carisi now.
Like Carisi? Yeah, sure.
Do you know Peter Scanavino?
Not personally, biblically, but we didn't talk much. Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at the first half of this episode. Law & Order, Season 9, Episode 6, Scrambled. Well, we open on an IVF clinic where somewhere in between the room with the big long needle and the whack-off chamber is the locked cryo chamber where they keep all the frozen embryos. That's where the body of employee Sarah Purcell is found after being fatally struck in the head. The weapon, a liquid nitrogen tank, and the embryos inside have been dumped down the sink.
So he was dumping this stuff. She interrupted him. What is this stuff exactly?
Oh, they were frozen embryos. Dr. Rutland takes eggs from women and fertilizes them with their husband's sperm.
These would have been babies?
Maybe 20 or 30.
Hell of a way to make an omelet.
Briscoe and Curtis ask, who in the world would have a problem with an IVF clinic? The answer, more people than actually should. After running through the usual pro-life extremist suspects, the detectives learn that clinic employees keep running into a potential client, Mr. Wilson, who likes to buy them drinks and ask questions about the security system. Lenny and Ray drag in the debt-ridden janitor who admits that Mr. Wilson paid him $5,000 for a key and info on one particular tank of long, unclaimed, fertilized eggs. Van Buren says the culprit wasn't trying to get rid of all the embryos, just those. Among those affected by the loss of the specimens is Coral Galvin, a young widow who wanted to have her dead husband's child. The twist, the sperm was his, but the frozen egg was his ex-wife's, the wealthy Arlene Galvin. And her limo driver happens to be a former cop who looks just like the sketch of Mr. Wilson. Francis Curran's fingerprints match the partials at the scene, so they arrest him for Sarah's murder, but they don't have enough to prove Arlene put him up to it. Okay, so we begin with Dr. Rutland telling a middle-aged woman that her ovaries are supple.
Wait, okay, I have so many follow-up questions. IVF is a great thing, but when did we start referring to ovaries as supple? It just feels like an awkward adjective.
This is all right before he tells the patient's husband that, now it's time to go make the knuckle chowder.
Wait, do you know one of my favorite sayings for that is churning the knuckle butter?
Churning the knuckle, okay, yeah, there you go.
Or shaking the governor's hand. Or
Making gentlemen's relish. Absolutely, yeah. They got a million
Stirring
of
the
them.
baby batter.
Yeah.
Manhandle the ham candle. I could do this all day, Kevin. Just ignore me.
So could he.
Oh, wow. Oh, ouch.
We have lowbrow humor, Rebecca. Is that what you're saying? You have way sophisticated humor. Me and Kevin are lowbrow.
Yeah, well, so what's great about that clinic is that the assistant is like, hey, we've got all kinds of magazines.
It's the first door on the right. There's some magazines on the table.
Only the best selection of magazines. Here, we got Jugs, we got Swank, we have People, we got Highlights if you're nasty. We got O Magazine, we thought it was going to be something else. And it was Oprah, but
Yeah, might be able to learn that.
You just got to use the cover, right? Because you know the pages are stuck together.
Right. And men are Neanderthals. It's just like, boobies. Give me boobies.
I don't care. It'd be like, give me a lure. It'll work.
Boys are so weird. Oh,
What's
God.
in your purse? Ooh.
Give me the Sears Wish book from 1974, and I'm sure there's an underwear ad there that'll...
Anything works. Neanderthal, Kevin. You're just backing up my...
Give me an ad for those period underwear, and I'm all over it.
Yeah. And the doctor's like, yeah, it's the first door on the left. No, I mean the right. Or this is the left. Oh, no, wait. And 100% you thought that doctor was using his own sperm, right?
No, I had other questions.
You had other questions about this clinic?
Yeah, I mean, they're doing this thing that's called the retrieval, right?
Yep.
And I'm just like, I found myself thinking, like, it's not branded right. It should be called extraction.
Oh.
It's right there.
It's right there.
It's right there. It's an egg.
Oh, trademark Rebecca Lavoie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, do they talk so much? Are you really talking?
They were definitely having awkward weather conversation. I mean, it's always that sort of thing. It's so exposing, when you go and you have in the stirrups and they're like, scooch closer, and they, Kevin, you don't know this, but they always tell you to scooch closer.
Where are you going on vacation?
Yeah.
Scooch closer.
I got to see this up close here. Yeah, whoa.
It's so awkward, but they were having definitely big conversation. And no, I thought that doctor was so weird. Turns out he's just a bad actor. But perfect for Law and Order.
Perfect for Law and Order. And so later we see Thomas go into that secure lab, punches in the code, and he finds Sarah on the floor, and he calls for help. I'm like, aren't you a doctor? Or a nurse or something? You have scrubs on. Why do you need help?
Yeah.
So the first line of inquiry is to go after people who might have political objections. And Briscoe and Curtis eventually find a guy running a pro-life newspaper who explained why he was against IVF.
You can try out one baby. If you like it, you can go back and get its clone. Or the baby can go back 20 years later and give birth to its own twin sister.
Is this one of your lectures?
You know what's next? Transplanting ovaries from aborted female fetuses. Your mother could be an aborted fetus.
You can take an aborted fetus and harvest its ovaries and fertilize one of those eggs.
Yes.
Well, the joke's on him because now you can't get an abortion until it's too late to get the ovaries. So you just painted yourself in a corner of your own indignation, didn't you?
It's so fun here, honestly. What a time to be alive. It's great.
Yeah. So I guess now fetuses are having their own babies, or
it's like the movie. It's like that show Dark on Netflix.
Yeah.
I had to rewind that. I didn't get what he was saying. It was so outside of the box. I was like, what?
It was very J.D. Vance. It made no fucking sense.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And now the fetuses are all like, I'll make my own choices about my body.
It's like Gen Z. They got a lot of opinions.
Yeah. Now we've got pro-choice fetuses. So like,
they've got little signs. They've got like pussy hats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we 100% sure that Curtis didn't commit this crime, by the way? Because he's like, his feelings are pretty fucked up about this as well.
I know. Put a pin in that one for 1 second.
Okay.
Because I think it'd be a great college essay, which is, my mom was an aborted fetus. It's like, I come from a long line of aborted fetuses in my family.
And what I really learned about was myself.
I feel like I've had a good career and this is the day I get canceled. I'm happy to do it with the both of you. Thank you so much for having me.
There you go. Yeah.
By the way, everyone feels that way when they come on this podcast, Ellyn. It's really just Kevin.
It's a near-death experience every time,
right.
yeah?
It's amazing that he's still with us.
Wait, cut this part.
Yeah, you know, the writers then use every possible scenario on who could donate an egg or do it for money or, throw out those unused eggs. And there's this one woman, she's dying of cancer and she wants to maybe leave her fertilized eggs to her parents. And now Curtis is all kinds of judgy about everything that he's heard. Mm-hmm. Perhaps for the first time in his life, he's hearing about this. What, science? I didn't hear about that in church.
You mean the woman on the bench who has as much acting ability and charisma as a pizza slicer? That one?
Yeah.
As an actual embryo?
Yeah.
You're putting your eggs aside?
Sperm from an anonymous donor. If I live, I can have children. If I die, my parents can find a surrogate mother and have a grandchild.
Curtis, he's really worked up, and then he gets into this. Briscoe's trying to calm him down, and they get into a conversation, and it gets spicy.
Mm-hmm. Come on, Ray. If some doctor could cure your wife with cells from a fetus...
It wouldn't be right.
Yeah, but think Deborah would agree?
Oh, you want to make this personal, Lenny? Let's say your daughter stored some eggs before she died. You could still be a grandfather. Does that sound good to you?
Holy shit, he went there.
It's like when someone says something really benign and it's you didn't look cute that night. Oh yeah, your dad left. Whoa, that went to trauma really fast.
Your mother's a fetus.
Yeah.
She never held you.
I fucked your dad and then froze those eggs. How about them apples? Got real below the belt real fast.
That elevated quickly.
Did you just say that elevated quickly, not that escalated quickly? Was that a Freudian slip because Ellyn Marsh is here?
Yeah.
Oh!
Ooh.
Just asking.
I have done some of my best work in elevators. It is escalated, Kevin. She's not wrong.
So Van Buren tells him how difficult it was for her sister when she couldn't conceive.
My sister couldn't have a baby. They tried for years. It was really painful.
Well, maybe she wasn't meant to have a baby.
Excuse me?
Nobody's promised a happy ending.
And then she gives him the look. Mm-hmm. It's as if she interrupted Kamala Harris and she's giving him the death stare back.
Do you remember, Kevin?
In season 5, when she shot a kid for just hassling her at the ATM, she's going to fuck up that guy's life.
Do you remember when I asserted that she did not like Ray Curtis?
This is true.
And nobody fucking believed me.
You even posed the question in a chat, literally, to Esapatha Murkison.
And she's like,
where it says, no, Van Buren never hated Curtis. And I'm like, oh, I beg to differ.
Yeah.
I think you're forgetting season 9, episode 6.
Yeah. If looks could kill.
Yeah. How do you come back from that one? People are like, man, Curtis has got a stick up his ass.
That's right. Well, maybe you weren't meant to be with Julia Roberts, Benjamin Brett.
Oh, you went there.
I forgot about that. You're so right.
Oh.
We're so old.
Someone's got to pass Van Buren's sister a fetus. You just squeeze it. And,
does this podcast have HR?
No, it's not.
What's the HR
You're
number?
talking to him. All right, we have a Hey, It's That Guy.
Hey, it's that guy.
Can you tell me who is playing defense attorney Richard Billings?
Marcy Darcy's husband from Married with Children.
And what's his name?
That I just said.
Yeah, it's David Garrison.
Because nobody thought to include an embryo settlement. This was a formality. These were Arlene Galvin's potential children.
Yeah, he was Steve, the neighbor on Married with Children, until he was replaced by documented show killer Ted McGinley.
Oh, Ted McGinley.
That's what I said. Ted McGinley. I'm going to make this bigger on my screen.
It is a weird show busy thing that sometimes when I can't place someone, I think I know them, not from a show. So I looked at that guy and I was like, where do I know that guy from? I think I've done something with him. Like one time I saw Joe Morton, the Olivia Pope's dad from Scandal.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and I was like, hey, how's it going? And he went, hey, thinking I had done a workshop or a show. And I was like, nope, that's Joe Morton. Don't know.
That's all it is.
Hey, it's that guy.
But when he left television, Marcy Darcy's husband, David Garrison, he went to the theater. I actually saw him in Wicked. He played the wizard in Wicked.
Yes. Look at you.
That is a show that Ellyn Marsh and I were both not cast for.
Yeah.
Our
Still
energy
pissed
levels
about it.
were not appropriate. In 1988, David Garrison helped the contestant win $100,000 on $100,000 Pyramid.
Oh.
Things that are dumb, things that are irrelevant, things that Kevin would say in a podcast. Ding, ding. Hey, we also have a Hey, It's That Girl.
Hey, it's that girl.
Can you name the actress playing Arlene Galvin?
That's the older Galvin. Right?
Yes, it is.
She only cares about the money. Isn't that obvious? After the child was born, how would she treat it?
I recognized her, but no, tell me.
Rebecca?
Don't know that one, no.
That's Lisa Eichhorn. 6 Law & Order universe appearances. She was in the classic Cutter's Way, and she played Dickie's mother in the movie The Talented Mr. Ripley. Yeah, Lisa is a Golden Globe nominee for the movie Yanks, which has nothing to do with that chamber in the... that's a whole different Yanks. That was a film about Americans in England during World War II, and she is American, but her agent told her to lie and pretend to be British, and that's how she got the role.
Oh, like Gillian Anderson.
Yeah.
I was lying about
Exactly.
pretending to be British.
Yeah. She was British.
Don't
and then
at me, by the way.
She suddenly turned American.
Yeah.
Someone should look into that. Can you tell me who's playing the new wife, Coral Galvin?
I know this one. That's Jean Louisa Kelly. She was in the sitcom Yes, Dear, which I actually watched, and that because it had Mike O'Malley in it, and I love him.
I married Joe 3 years ago when I was 22. Joe was 51.
So, the embryos?
Well, he'd made them with his first wife.
Yeah. She was also in Mr. Holland's Opus, Uncle Buck, and she had the perfect marriage in the blockbuster Top Gun Maverick.
Oh.
It was that she got to be with Val Kilmer and not have to listen to him say a goddamn thing.
Oh, that's fun.
That's dark, Kevin.
Yeah, it's pretty dark.
Yeah, because he can't.
So at age 15, she was the original Snow White on Broadway in Into the Woods. Another show that Ellyn Marsh was not cast for.
Oh.
Kevin, do you know what Snow White does in Into the Woods?
No, tell me.
Nothing.
That's right.
She's not in Into the Woods. She just appears in the background.
Yeah.
She's just in the background?
Yeah, she's not.
She's not like Little Red Riding Hood where
No.
she gets a... She's just in the background?
Yeah.
No,
it's like,
She's an extra, essentially.
The Snow White, if someone is Snow White and Into the Woods, they're basically an onstage swing. Because Snow White doesn't do anything. It could be cut if it needed to. It just comes like at the end.
She's playing right field, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay,
that is
gotcha.
the most hilarious resume I've ever.
She was probably,
Who's gonna know?
She's probably an understudy for Little Red Riding Hood. That's
Yeah,
probably what
or
she was.
probably maybe a couple of things. The stepsisters. Yeah, so she's like, she would be an onstage swing.
Ah, got it. We do have a repeat offender.
Repeat offender.
We do?
Yeah, that's Frank Wood as Dr. Rutland.
Your ovary's very supple.
He's currently the ME on SVU. He's had a recurring role there. But Rebecca knows him as the brother of our United States Senator Maggie Wood Hassan.
Oh, it's that guy.
That guy,
He
yes.
looks very different in this.
Yeah, because he has a little bit of hair and looks less like a thumb. Hey, do you know who's playing the assistant there, Thomas Kravitz?
Her name is Sarah Purcell. She's an embryologist. When I went home last night, she was working.
Alone?
Dr. Rutland was here.
That's Michael Mastro, 32 Law & Order Universe appearances for the past 13 years. He's had a recurring role on SVU as an arraignment judge.
Oh.
He was in Broadway. He was on Broadway in Funny Girl and Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Roles that, again, Ellyn Marsh did not get. I'm just going to keep pointing these out.
Oh, please. Honestly, I need to be taken down a peg. Let's
There
be
you
real.
go. Okay. That's why we invite people on, to humiliate them.
Yeah, keep my ego in check because I was feeling a little bit good about myself today, but you know what? Right back where I started. Thank you, Kevin.
In 5th grade, Michael was cast in the production of Tom Sawyer as Injun Joe. And the makeup is probably exactly what you're picturing.
Just more than slightly offensive, which is my drag name, so that works out.
Can you tell me the name of the performer playing Maxine, that college-age female egg donor?
I wanted to help people, but it was harder than I thought. Hormone shots every day. My boyfriend had to inject me. I couldn't have sex. I got moody.
That's Laura Moss. They were Amanda on Another World.
Really?
Yeah. Is that a soap opera you watch?
Of course it was. Another World was great.
But you don't remember Amanda?
I mean, it was no As the World Turns, but it was pretty good.
Great.
Laura recently was one of 11 trans and non-binary filmmakers who were awarded $50,000 to create a proof of concept for a feature film.
Oh, great.
Did you recognize the guy playing Carl's lawyer in the conference room scene?
Basic mayonnaise white guy?
Yes.
No, a basic mayonnaise white guy. That was my answer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I'm checking his notes.
Uh-huh.
His name is Richard Munez.
Your Honor, we've already filed papers to prevent the release of the embryos to Carl Galvin, no matter what position the district attorney takes.
He was Joe Novak on Ryan's Hope.
Really?
No, again, these are soap.
Ryan's Hope was a little that's an older soap.
Oh, okay.
It sort of ended when I was a child.
I also only know 4 TV shows. I don't really watch that much TV.
Uh-huh.
She's not a loser like me.
Do you know Camelot?
The musical?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was Lancelot in the Broadway revival and in the HBO filmed version of it. I think Richard Harris.
Interesting.
Or
yeah,
Richard
if you
Burton
ever
was,
want to take a paid nap, go see Camelot the musical.
Perfect. Great. And somehow you didn't get cast in that either?
I am terribly too entertaining for that show, Kevin.
Gotcha. I'll try out myself next time. All right, lastly, do you know who's the guy running that anti-abortion newspaper who will probably like to fuck a couch?
It's an ethical and moral nightmare. Did you know the great Dr. Rutland is experimenting with embryo cloning?
For sure, couch fucker. Looked familiar. Can't place it.
His name is William Humans. 3 Law & Order Universe appearances. He was the original Dr. Dillamond in Wicked.
Dillermond?
Is that
Yeah.
okay?
Half goat, half man.
Gotcha. I know which half, too.
Something bad is happening in Oz. Yeah.
Oh.
And some reason you did not get that role either.
No.
In the movie, is that who Ariana Grande's SpongeBob boyfriend is playing?
No. He is playing Bach.
Oh, okay.
The Munchkin.
Okay.
Because he's very wee. And I have all the tea on that because he's a Broadway guy.
I can't wait.
Oh, great. Look, speaking of tea, this gentleman's uncle was Vincent Humans, who wrote the play No, No, Nanette. And if you know anything about The Curse of the Bambino, you'll know all about that. It was in order to finance No, No, Nanette that the Red Sox owner sold Babe Ruth to the Yankees, yada, yada.
It's a musical, Kevin, but whatever. You don't listen to me. It's a musical.
It's a musical? Oh. Well, the hit song from that musical show was what?
No, no, Nanette. Oh, there's another one.
Yeah.
What is it? You're going to tell me and I'm going to...
Tea for Two.
Oh,
Tea
yeah.
for Two.
Again, another nap-worthy musical.
Yeah, but only if 1920s audiences knew that T actually stood for titties.
Really?
Yeah, with 2 D's in the middle. Titties. So they suspect someone posing as a potential patient scouted out the clinic and gotten, inside information. And apparently there's this one guy who keeps accidentally bumping into employees in bars and stores.
He said he was trusting us with his future children, so he wanted to see how the alarms worked and if we had any cameras.
That didn't strike you as odd?
Not really.
And they just tell the cops it was all just small talk, what's the combination to the door?
Yeah, how are you? What time does everyone go home at your job?
What do you do with the old fertilized eggs? Do they go in the back in a special section?
Sir, this is a Burger King. What can I get you?
Where does the cloning happen?
This guy asking you questions. You didn't think it was strange? Or strange? I got people cranking it to Goofus and Gallant from Highlights magazine next door. Nothing is strange to me anymore.
I'm sucking out human eggs with a tube over here.
So strange.
Yeah, this guy was great. He's sending emails like, what's your mother's middle name? God damn it. So the detectives are talking to everyone who had a claim to the embryos in that tank, and they meet Coral Galvin just after taking her horse for a walk in the park.
I was devastated when the clinic called. Those embryos were my last chance.
You or your husband have a medical problem?
My husband is dead.
Kevin and Rebecca, I want to talk about this for a minimum of 16 minutes.
Okay.
This woman, let me paint you a picture, dear listeners. This woman is in the park. She is in a full-ass equestrian outfit.
That's right. Blazer.
That shit was approved by the International Equestrian Foundation. Her outfit is regulation. I have lived in New York for over 20 years, and there are people walking their horses, riding their horses in New York. I have never seen anyone in an equestrian outfit. Like this woman was like, I feel like I'm going to go for a ride in the park. Let me get my little coat on and my little khaki pants. It was so extra.
Well, what I was thinking was like the writers were like, we're not sure the horse telegraphs horse enough.
Yeah.
So we need more. We need more. So what we're going to do is the blazer, the breeches, the boots, the
coat,
crop, the beret, all of it.
Gloves, everything.
She's dressed like a lawn ornament. Or she'd just be holding a lantern,
You mean
right?
a lawn jockey?
Yeah, lawn jockey. There you go. Yeah.
Except a woman and white.
Yeah, it's exactly
If I saw
like
someone like that in Central Park, I'd be like, the fuck are you doing, ma'am?
But remember, like, the detectives are, like, in New York City trying to track these people down. It's like, how did they, like, know to find her there? Was they call and she's like, I'll be on my horse. Come find me on the bike path. I'll be the one with the horse.
And Central Park is massive.
So big.
It's like 100 blocks or something. It's huge. But listen, she stuck out.
Yeah.
Sure. She's like, I have a home in Connecticut and a horse in Manhattan. And I'm thinking, shouldn't it be the other way around?
Exactly.
And by the way, do you ride the horse to the park, or do both of you take the
There's
subway?
stables there.
There's stables there. There are
okay.
a couple, yeah.
So she said that she wanted her husband's child.
We wanted to have children. It was very important to him. And to me, especially after he died. I even tried to have sperm removed from his body.
After he died?
They can do that.
Yes, but you have to stroke so much harder. Because it's like squeezing a slinky. It's like tying a rope with one hand. It won't.
I have so many follow-up questions, and I want none of them to be answered.
You want none of these? How it happens?
No, I have 0.00 desire to understand further. I'm just going to take that at face value. That's, thank you.
Lemon, lime, and a drop of cherry make a simple Shirley. But what happens when Tito's handmade vodka reveals this sweet sipper's dirty secret? Stir up a Tito's Dirty Sherlock and crack the case with Tito's at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Walmart Plus members save on meeting up with friends. Save on having them over for dinner with free delivery with no hidden fees or markups. That's groceries plus napkins plus that vegetable chopper to make things a bit easier. Plus, members save on gas to go meet them in their neck of the woods. Plus, when you're ready for the ultimate sign of friendship, start a show together with your included Paramount Plus subscription. Walmart Plus members save on this plus so much more. Start a 30-day free trial at walmartplus.com. Paramount Plus Essential Plan only. Separate registration required. See Walmart Plus terms and conditions.
All right, now let's take a look at the second half of this episode. While Curran faces murder charges, Coral Galvin wants Arlene locked up too.
She killed my embryos. That's murder.
Actually, Mrs. Galvin, under New York law, it's not murder to kill someone who hasn't been born.
That's ridiculous.
But the embryologist, Sarah Purcell, was definitely murdered.
Okay, her then. Arlene was obviously behind it.
Carmichael learns that the late Mr. Galvin and Arlene conceived one child through IVF, and when they split, he won the remaining eggs in the divorce. Their son has a $11 million trust, but if Coral were to have one of Galvin's babies, even if it were with Arlene's egg, she would be able to claim half the trust. Curran's wife posed as Mrs. Wilson when they scouted the clinic, so McCoy threatens to charge her unless he gives up Arlene. The chauffeur says that the first Mrs. G wanted to stop the second Mrs. G from having her baby, and Sarah simply got in the way. In an overly complicated legal twist, to make felony murder charges stick, McCoy has to prove the crime happened during a burglary, which opens a whole fucking can of worms about whether the embryos are property and who's the rightful owner, and legal thought exercises that will make your eyes bleed. But the trial comes down to this. McCoy has to convince the jury the embryos destroyed were property that belonged to Coral if they believe they were Arlene's. Destroying her own eggs isn't burglary and therefore not felony murder. Now, on the stand, Coral says she's always wanted to have Mr. Galvin's baby, but the defense points out that she had been pregnant with his baby when their marriage was on the rocks, but she had an abortion. Coral says, well, she didn't want to raise a child in a broken home, but things got better. So much better that while he's dying in the emergency room, Coral was trying to get a sample of his nut butter before he kicked the bucket. Abby realizes that 2 of the Galvin's frozen embryos are unaccounted for, and Dr. Rutland finds them in a different storage container. This opens a whole new fight between the women, and it's clear that Coral just wants the eggs to get the trust money. Now, the only way to get around Arlene's claim that she destroyed her own embryos is to find someone willing to testify that she destroyed their embryos too. So McCoy convinces a reluctant couple to tell their harrowing reproductive medical history in open court by threatening to charge them with abortion in the second degree.
So confused.
Arlene takes a manslaughter plea, and the 2 Mrs. Galvins prepare for civil court to fight it out over those last 2 eggs. All right, so the first half of Law & Order is always a murder mystery, and the second half is a moral mystery. So, among themselves, they debate about whether these frozen cells are property and if there's any equivalency between this and abortion.
This is the kind of thing we don't want to get into.
You're arguing from abortion rights?
You don't like abortion rights?
Any woman with a brain ought to be able to figure out a better method of birth control.
See, this is just where we don't want to be going.
Rebecca, why is Abby Carmichael your favorite ADA?
I knew she was conservative. I've never said that she wasn't. I just like Angie Harmon a lot, and I think she's really good in this show. And you don't have to be Jack McCoy is psychotic. He's a fucking psychopath, and everybody says he's their favorite. So, why can't I like somebody who I deeply disagree with about abortion and say she's a good actor on the show?
Because you can't. Ellen, why is Rebecca wrong?
I would rather be on your bad side, Kevin, than Rebecca's. So whatever Rebecca says goes.
I understand that. I would rather be on Rebecca's good side as well. But, Rebecca, you know that Carmichael broke a window on January 6th, right?
Oh, my God. What she actually said, any woman with a brain should be able to figure out a better method of birth control than abortion.
Yes.
That is actually when I Googled what year this episode was made.
1998.
1998. Yeah. I was like, what is this? Yeah.
It was wild. But you know what? This was the year. These were the years. Let's go back in time, shall we? Harp noise. These were the years when young women, people hated Hillary Clinton so much that the word feminist became a bad word. And this was the beginning of the trad wife era where it was cool to be a college Republican, and young women were no, there's nothing wrong with being traditional and having family values and their hippie parents were well, who the fuck are you?
Yeah. Oh, big time. Yeah. That whole pendulum swing for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when the driver doesn't want to give up his wife, he doesn't want to have his wife involved in any way. And he's like, no, I lied to her about what I was doing. She doesn't need to know anything. And then they're like, we know about your wife. We know you need money. We know about her arthritis.
We know about her arthritis. She had to quit her waitress job.
That's why you did it. You needed the money.
You leave her alone.
Oh my
And
God.
I'm not laughing at arthritis because I know lots of dancers who have suffered from early arthritis, and it is very difficult and challenging, but it was the most random, like,
Where aspirin is very expensive in New York.
It wasn't her leukemia. It wasn't her, like, it was.
No, it wasn't her cancer. We know about her IBS.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
Don't keep anything from us. We know she's got cataracts.
We know your grandmother has carpal tunnel.
It was just the strangest, most intense ailment. They're like, we want something low stakes. Does anyone have a low stakes ailment that they could give us?
I'll commit murder for arthritis.
We know about her dirty aquarium.
Yeah. But my wife has halitosis. Please help us.
Because, maybe it had been too subtle earlier, the writers get really explicit and inject the issue in a very obvious way by saying to the second wife, you wanted a baby, but you had an abortion.
Mm-hmm.
You had an abortion because you and Mr. Galvin were having problems?
Yes.
Not because a child would get in the way of your busy social schedule.
No. It wasn't right bringing a child into a broken home.
A home without a mother and a father.
Yes.
But after your husband died, that didn't bother you anymore?
No.
God forbid.
Yes, God forbid you have a legal abortion.
Yes.
Or as you have to say on TikTok, a shmashmortion.
Oh, you don't want
Yeah. They
don't want the algorithm finding that.
Yeah, exactly.
TikTok has made a whole new language. Like TikTok, this show would never fly because you can't even say dead on TikTok. You have to say unalive.
Yeah,
It's
isn't
a
that
whole
the
thing.
weirdest thing?
It's the
I
whole
had
thing.
no idea. There's all, and when you say sex, people spell it S-E-G-G-X. Sorry, S-E-G-G-S.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't say sex? Okay. Everyone's done it at least once. Have you guys done sex before? Right?
We've done segs. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I know, Rebecca, you did it that one time or I didn't know if you guys had done it together. Gross.
So Abby Carmichael, who she's now in the January 6th choir.
Okay.
Like doing all that stuff, holding vigil every night. But before that, she suddenly realizes that they're 2 eggs short. And so Dr. Rutland finds them. They were mislabeled. If they were mislabeled, how do they know these were hers? Did they look at them real close? And they go, oh, yeah.
Those cells look just like her.
That's right. I can see the resemblance. So McCoy observes that Coral's like real motivation for having the kid is just to get the money. And so he makes the judgment. I don't think she'd make a good mother.
I'm not sure Arlene Galvin's child deserves to be born to Carl Galvin under these circumstances.
Jack, we're trying to get justice here for Sarah Purcell.
Getting that justice means that a new life is created. A life that may be miserable.
Or happy. There's no way to predict.
Are you the arbiter right now of makes a good parent? The guy who's always eating Chinese food at his desk in the middle of the night?
Right. I mean, I don't disagree with anything that she's saying. I do think it's a little erroneous that during the divorce, they're like, okay, the country house goes to her, the pearls go to her, he gets the 2 cars, and he's like, oh, well, I need something else. And they're like, do you, I don't know, what haven't we divvied up? The frozen embryos? Like, do you want the frozen? It's so weird. So that's the thing, is that I don't agree with anything that she did, but I totally agree. I'd be like, why is this 22-year-old equestrian who wears these weird outfits during the middle of the day is going to implant my actual baby? Like,
right.
It is all super weird.
It's fucked up.
Yeah.
The divorce is so contentious that he realizes, I don't want to even take a chance of her getting those embryos and having my baby.
Yeah. Yeah. First of all, isn't $11 million? That seems so cute now, doesn't it? That wouldn't even buy you like a super nice apartment in New York. It would buy you like a nice one, but not like a super nice one. And how do we know she's not going to be a good mother? I feel like everyone's being really fucking judgy. Just because she likes horses and money does not also mean she can't be a good mother.
Was this before Gone Baby Gone?
Right. I mean, I think the whole thing is that she was just like, no, I don't want you to do it. I think that's a perfectly logical and acceptable reason.
Yes, I don't want you to have my baby.
Mother.
Yeah.
Or the money. It's like, no, bitch, I don't want my baby in your belly.
Yeah, that should be enough.
That's enough. I don't understand why we needed explanations.
Nope, that should have been
it
enough.
was completely fine. If it was for the money or because she thought she was going to be a bad mom, it's just, that's creepy.
Yeah.
I bet if Arlene offered, like, here's $4 million to go away, she would have taken that.
Totally. Do you
Right?
think it was for the money? I mean, it had to have been. Or
All
this
for the
woman
money.
could have gone and, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or maybe she's just in a necrophilia, and she's like, I really want one last chance to ride that Jimmy.
It's so weird. Well, then the story that they tell on the stand, that doctor tells on the stand when he came in from the car accident.
I told her there was a good chance her husband would die.
What did she say?
She said, please don't do anything that would make it difficult to extract his sperm.
Where she was like, get my husband's sperm. And he was like, okay, crazy lady. I mean, like, we can sit and talk about your husband's dick spider webs, but I'd also like to save his life, you know? It was all so, you go back in there before he dies. Give me that sperm. I want to see that scene. Why was that a deleted scene?
Yeah, that would've
should
been
have been a
great.
flashback.
Wait. Do it as an audition in Law and Order. Like, how would you get that part if that were a scene in Law and Order?
So if I was, set it up for me.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Galvin, but I don't think he's going to make it.
What I need you to do is I need you to go, don't make me laugh. Well, you stupid piece of shit. I need one thing and one thing only, and that's my husband's spooge. Go in there, however you need to get it, and get me that spooge.
Well, I could either give him this life-saving drug or pick up his Johnny and reach under and then start trying to milk out that high-fructose corn syrup.
Whatever you have to do to get me the liquid gold. Do you hear me? And scene, did I book it?
Yeah.
You got it.
You got it.
No
Absolutely.
emotion?
No
Thank
emotion.
you. Thank
Yeah.
you so
Too
much.
bad. And then the end of that scene should be like her being dragged away with her hands reaching out like, no, I want it. Let me touch it one last time.
It's so creepy.
That's right.
I was like, this was on regular television? Just
It was.
straight on network TV. I
Yeah.
can't believe that.
Yeah. And then on TNT for Saturday mornings for 15 years after that. Yeah.
Yeah, just 3:00 in the afternoon talking about, recreationally talking about an old man's sperm.
That's
Yeah.
right.
There's a woman just pulled up on a horse, and now she wants her dying husband's jizz. I need a Ziploc bag.
Here, the best I could do is a Snapple bottle. How about that? Put it in there.
Fine. There you go. So in a career full of stretches, this one may be the biggest. So in order to get a different couple to cooperate with this murder investigation, McCoy tells them, like, you're basically accessories to the destruction of these embryos. So we're going to charge them with abortion in the second degree.
All of the embryos were like over 8 years old. Remember? And they're like, we don't know where all these people are. So if nobody cares, then there's no case. And so they were like, can we employ you to care? And then they said, we don't want to do this because we actually were pregnant with twins. We could only have one. We got rid of the other, and we don't want to make that information public. And they were like, right, but without you, there's no case about the embryos. Somebody's got to be sad about it.
But why did we have to hear that whole second story if it wasn't going to be in court? Only because the writers want us to hear another weird, extreme story.
Right. These parents say they're reluctant to tell their story because the implantation process resulted in 2 babies, but because it was creating an at-risk pregnancy, the doctors performed a perfectly legal, perfectly ethical, medically necessary, selective reduction.
Yep.
I know that, like, this is not a real person and this wasn't a real situation, but isn't that exactly what we're supposed to be fighting for that to be able to happen?
And it's very common, actually, for IVF. For people who they get implanted, 5 of them take. And it's like, I don't want quintuplets, or I can't have quintuplets, or whatever.
Seriously.
She's like, well, what am I going to tell my daughter? I don't know. How about the truth? Try the truth.
How the fuck is your daughter going to find out? Are you bringing her to court?
Yes.
Is it going to be televised? Is it going to be on court TV? Just do it and don't talk about it like
Did
you
she
haven't
have a
talked about it for the
subscription
last
to the
9
Daily
years.
News? She's never going to
It's
find
also
it.
like, your daughter didn't eat her twin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but like, this is a choice that like is legal and fine, and we want you to have it too. Congratulations, you're alive.
Yeah. I think the daughter would be thrilled. She'd be like, I never win anything.
Lemon, lime, and a drop of cherry make a simple Shirley. But what happens when Tito's handmade vodka reveals this sweet sipper's dirty secret? Stir up a Tito's Dirty Sherlock and crack the case with Tito's at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Walmart Plus members save on meeting up with friends. Save on having them over for dinner with free delivery with no hidden fees or markups. That's groceries plus napkins plus that vegetable chopper to make things a bit easier. Plus, members save on gas to go meet them in their neck of the woods. Plus, when you're ready for the ultimate sign of friendship, start a show together with your included Paramount Plus subscription. Walmart Plus members save on this plus so much more. Start a 30-day free trial at walmartplus.com. Paramount Plus Essential Plan only. Separate registration required. See Walmart Plus terms and conditions.
Hey, now let's take a look at the real-life story that inspired this episode. It's time for Rip from the Headlines.
You think you know who did it. You think you know who did it. But you don't know who did it. You don't know who did it. Rip from the Headlines.
This episode is inspired by the 1998 court case of Kass versus Kass. Maureen and Stephen Kass were married in 1988, but found they had trouble having children. They began several rounds of IVF treatments, but the procedures resulted in a miscarriage and an ectopic pregnancy. The couple decided to hold off on further attempts and have the remaining fertilized eggs frozen. The Casses each signed a standard contract saying if they couldn't agree on what to do in the future with the remaining 5 eggs, the hospital would donate them to research. The couple soon split and their divorce decree said neither would claim custody. Weeks later, Maureen changed her mind and sued Stephen to get the embryos for implantation. A judge initially ruled in her favour, reasoning a man had no legal say in whether a woman terminated a conventional pregnancy. An appeals court later sided with Stephen. Rather than focus on the reproductive rights issues, the judges framed the dispute as simple contract law. They said both sides freely signed a binding agreement as to what would happen to the fertilized eggs in the event of a dispute. The judges also made the point that decisions about fertilization belong to the egg and sperm donors, and courts must not interfere in those decisions.
All right, over 12 million babies have been conceived by in vitro fertilization. The topic has surprisingly returned to the news.
I haven't heard about it.
You haven't heard about it? Well, let me tell you why. In Alabama, a patient walked the fuck right into the cryo chamber and opened up a canister to take a look at the embryos, which isn't great for those embryos. So the parents sued the clinic, and the Alabama Supreme Court ruled that they could make a claim against, surprise, the state's Wrongful Death of a Minor Act. They said in their decision that law applies, quote, to all unborn children without limitation, and that includes unborn children who are not located in utero at the time they are killed. And so my question is, time and time again, why do they not lock these fucking doors?
It seems very simple. You're not wrong. But is this all run by a man? Because I feel like a man would forget that minor detail.
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah, that's the. I mean, you've probably heard of the case, but those are the details.
Yeah,
and then like, by the way, the parents endured huge costs and a lot of physical pain, right, to harvest those eggs and have them fertilized, and it's very emotional and expensive to go through the process to like save the eggs, so we don't have to do that again. Right, you freeze those eggs for that reason, and through the clinic's negligence, those eggs were destroyed. Now, you got to set aside their embryos and the life implications and all. Set that aside for a second. Don't these people have the right to say, you fucked up, you're liable, we have the right to be made whole.
Yes. They should get their money back.
Yep.
Because it is not cheap.
It's like 15 grand a time, right? It's like 15 grand
it
a
can
pop.
be. Yeah. I've had a lot of friends who have done that. And it is. It's emotional. And for women who have to take hormones, it's a lot on your body. Absolutely. Absolutely. I have a whole separate podcast conversation about the monetization of becoming a parent. It's a little gross to me in terms of the cost and everything. No, I absolutely agree. They definitely deserve their money back at the very least.
Money and compensation for emotional stuff and work time lost.
Absolutely.
Like everything that you lose when you're going through this.
Yeah. And so the legal ruling was based on not on anything about tort law or about liability or those kinds of things. They made it about you killed little children here. All the IVF clinics in the area, they shut down. This was the cascading crisis that happened in the past few months is because they're saying, now this is an abortion issue with these
I'd like
8
to hit
cells.
pause on this.
Yeah.
I would like someone to take that judge and see if he would like to jump into a freezing tank of liquid nitrogen and see if he would survive that.
That's
right.
Jesus.
Because I think it's pretty fucking safe to say that 4 cells in a thing of liquid nitrogen are not actively alive.
Very good point.
Would you be actively alive?
I am barely actively alive right now. So the answer is no. I hadn't heard much about abortion lately. What is going on right now?
No.
Anything
Same
to
old,
report?
same old.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
In this legal case, we talked about Kass versus Kass. They decided not on the basis of parental rights or reproductive freedom, but simply on the basis of you signed a contract saying we agree that if we disagree, then we agree that this is what will happen. Is that how you see this from what you know?
This is really fucking complicated. I don't know what was going on with this couple, and I would not say there should be one blanket rule for all of these situations. I'm going to just firmly say that. That being said, there are many, many situations where stuff like this happens, and like the woman could ostensibly be like, listen, you can sign away your parental rights. This is my last chance to have a baby, whatever. But I could also see the point where the man could be like, I do not want to be a parent in this world, and I've decided that. And, even if I sign away my parental rights, in 18 years, someone could do 23andMe and knock on my door. And that is a choice I am making that I do not want that to happen to me. So there are like a lot of rights at play here. That being said, I think that calling it as simple as a tort thing is also weird. So I just don't think it's going to be the same in every situation.
Louise Joy Brown. She was the first test tube baby. She was born in 1978. Remember that?
Baby doe. That's what they called her when she was first born. Baby doe.
Baby doe. Louise Joy Brown. She is an international IVF advocate. There are actually, just now, there are 2 movies and 1 play. There's no music in it, Ellen, so it's a play.
I don't want to hear about it then.
Yeah, okay.
Boring.
They basically they're out, they're in production now, they're out right now about her parents' efforts to conceive and those medical pioneers that helped. The play is called, it's in London, it's called A Child of Science. And Ellen did not get a chance to try out for that role, unfortunately.
Yeah. I flew all the way out for the audition. And actually, it was a little more than not getting the role, Kevin. They slapped me in the face, called me a cunt, and told me I'd never work again. So it was a hard day that day.
Yeah, and you're like, is that a no?
Yeah, I don't look fetusy enough for you.
I don't fetusy enough. My goodness. So the play is called Child of Science. In the lead role of Dr. Bob Edwards was the actor who played Draco Malfoy in the Harry Potter movies.
Oh.
Yeah. And the kid who played Joffrey in Game of Thrones was the Jizz Cup. That is going to do it for us. We want to thank our special guest, Ellyn Marsh. Ellyn, where can you be found?
Oh, thank you for asking. You can follow me on Instagram at Ellyn Marsh. I do spell my name with a Y. And if you like true crime TV, you can follow me and Joey Taranto at I Think Not Pod, and go ahead and go listen to one of our episodes. I also have Rabia and Ellen Solve the Case, which is a talk style. The fuck is a talk style? A talk show style show. We had Rebecca and Kevin on for the Pam Smart case, and you can find us at Rabia and Ellen. as well as my show at Grab Bag Collab with Daisy Egan. So if you love all things Love is Blind or really mind-numbing and really vapid
Okay, that's enough.
TV,
You
you can find us at Shut the Fuck Up, Nick Lachey. Kevin, you have just as many podcasts, dude. Zip it or I'll break your hip, okay? You all have 98 podcasts.
Won't be hard.
I can't keep track.
Rebecca Lavoie, could you give us 98 of those other places you're found?
No.
Okay. And you can track me on Twitter at Kevin P. Flynn. You also can tweet to us, and I'm going to say tweet because fuck you, Elon Musk.
Truly.
You can tweet to us at Law & Order Pod. Follow us on Instagram at These Are Their Stories Podcast, or like and subscribe on YouTube or TikTok. Our newsreader was Cy Frater. Our theme music was composed and performed by Uncanny Valleys. Content assistance from Travis Roy. Lily Flynn handles promotions. All clips in this podcast were used in compliance with the U.S. Copyrights Act fair use exemption for criticism and commentary. Go to lawandorderpodcast.com and sign up for our newsletter for a chance to be our next Law & Order Marathon winner. These Are Their Stories was recorded in Studio C and is a production of Partners in Crime Media.
Partners in Crime Media.
Lemon, lime, and a drop of cherry make a simple Shirley. But what happens when Tito's handmade vodka reveals this sweet sipper's dirty secret? Stir up a Tito's Dirty Sherlock and crack the case with Tito's at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Walmart Plus members save on meeting up with friends. Save on having them over for dinner with free delivery with no hidden fees or markups. That's groceries plus napkins plus that vegetable chopper to make things a bit easier. Plus, members save on gas to go meet them in their neck of the woods. Plus, when you're ready for the ultimate sign of friendship, start a show together with your included Paramount Plus subscription. Walmart Plus members save on this plus so much more. Start a 30-day free trial at walmartplus.com. Paramount Plus Essential Plan only. Separate registration required. See Walmart Plus terms and conditions.